while getting set up and a couple of changes that we had to make, but thank you for working through it. And welcome to the second edition of Fund Your Life Workshop. Now, if you guys missed the second one, because actually everybody here, these are all new faces. So last time we covered credit repair, credit restoration, and we talked about a couple of money not generating but money compounding vehicles such as IULs, and we talked a little bit about stock market investing. We covered things like that. What I realized that we didn't cover is we didn't cover the actual mentality of money, and we didn't cover fundamentals of money, and we did not cover actually generating money. So that's what I want to cover today in this session. All right. So, Cherie, I'm gonna ask you, and by the way, our facilitators and organizers of this project are Cherie and Noemi through CJK Community Homes. So I thank you guys for everything, and in conjunction with Threat Squad BMW, and I'm RJ Stewart, and I will be the host for today. And I have to ask you a question before we start. How much do you have to put down to purchase a home, typically?
Is it like 5 to 10%?
About 5 to 10%, which roughly equates to about $7,000 to $10,000 is what you put down to purchase a home. And Noemi's main reason for this program that we do is because she wants everyone to be able to walk out here a homeowner by the time we're finished with this entire workshop, which goes typically for a year. But that's the main goal here. So that's what I wanted to cover. So if I asked you today, if I told you today that by the time you leave out of here, you'll know how to generate $10,000 in a year, what would you say?
What would that?
Okay. That's what we're going to cover today. Saving $10,000 in your bank account in 1 year. When I say savings, I mean that these are funds that are not allocated to anything else. They're not allocated to bills. They're not allocated to anything else. So you still have your basic operating expenses, you know, paying for rent, paying for groceries, all of that. That money is allocated and completely separate from this $10,000 that you're going to save. So who in here has less than $10,000 in debt?
Me.
Perfect. So what this program, or what this is designed to do, is to help you in 2 years purchase a home. Because if you have less than 10K in debt, that means the first year should be covering paying off all your debt. That's 10K in 1 year, right? That completely absolves you of all debt. In conjunction with last month's course of credit repair. And if you guys have any questions with credit repair, you can contact me later. I'll leave my cards, and you can always ask me questions about credit repair. But that first year is designed to help you save 10K to wipe out all debt. The second year is the 10K that you'll put away to purchase your first home. All right? So that's what I want to cover today. All right? So I have note cards because I forget everything. So I actually had to write stuff down. So I want to talk about two mindsets, because making money is not hard. Does everybody agree with that? Making money is not hard. Anyone can get a job. Anyone can run into money. Money is not hard to make. The problem is how our relationship is to money. All right? Our relationship with money, the fact that we don't understand it, the fact that a lot of us are not educated with money, and that education is not openly provided in the school system. I mean, yeah, it's just something that's not taught. All right? So the first thing I want to talk about is money mindset. Broke versus poor. Can anybody tell me the difference between the two?
Broke, yeah.
Go for it.
Person, yeah. Person who has like a lot of things to do, bills, maybe some urgent situation happened, and he spent all the saving money on that situation. So he become broke and he couldn't cover himself.
Okay.
Yeah, broke would be having nothing. Poor would be barely making it, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, those are great answers. Those are great answers, but I need you guys to think of it as far as mindset and mentality goes. See, you guys are talking about a situation. I'm talking about a mental state. All right? So broke, you're right. Broke is, I have no money in my pocket. Whether it went on purchasing, paying bills, buying groceries, something happened with the kids, and hey, I have to pull out of my savings and I have to pay for a medical bill. That is broke. Poor stands for an acronym, which is a mindset acronym. POOR, passing over opportunities repeatedly. All right? So that is what poor is. Poor, a broke person can easily generate more cash. You can be broke because you had to pay all of your bills, right? But are you going to be broke when the next paycheck comes in? No. But a poor person is broke after they pay their bills, and then before they even get paid, they're broke. Because making money isn't the problem, but it's your relationship to money, and it's what you do with the money that you get in. All right? And that is the first thing that you have to learn if you're going to put away $10K in 1 year. Your relationship to money. So everybody gets the difference between broke and poor?
Could you tell me one more time?
Mm-hmm. Broke is the situation. Broke is where you're standing financially. You can be broke after you finish paying your bills, but when your next paycheck comes in, you're not broke anymore. Poor is passing over opportunities repeatedly. So you're broke, but before you even get your next paycheck, you're broke anyway, because your relationship to money, how you look at money and how you treat it. Money is a tool. All right? Money is completely a tool. Money is not people's relationship to money. A lot of people feel like if you don't, who equates success with money? Raise your hand if you do. Okay, gotcha. All right then. Somebody tell me what wealth is. Does anybody know the definition of wealth? Anybody, just spitball, just throw it out there.
Having funds, having capital to leave your families so that they could survive every generation that comes after.
Perfect. Generational wealth. I love it. Somebody else throw something out. What is wealth? What is the definition of wealth?
Having more money than you need.
Having more money than you need. Okay, gotcha. An abundance of cash flow. Perfect.
Well off with money to be able to do other things.
Perfect. I love it. Anybody else?
Financial freedom.
Financial freedom. I love it. These are all great things. Sound great, but none of them are impossible. The definition of wealth. Wealth is not measured in dollar signs. Wealth is measured in time. Because the definition of wealth is how many months can you continue to live your current lifestyle without having to work? So if you have enough money put away to cover enough bills for 6 months, you are 6 months wealthy. That is the definition of wealth. Wealth is measured in time, not in dollar signs.
So basically this right here is like having a successful mindset, right?
Having a successful mindset.
And being successful doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying, you got a business and your business is up and running and booming. It's just having a successful mindset of anything you set out to do.
Definitely. But we will get into that as well, because if this is your first time meeting me, I'm all about entrepreneur. But I'm supposed to cover financial mindset, but I'm definitely going to throw entrepreneur in here because I love talking about entrepreneurs. So thank you. Yes. So I could sit up here all day and I could tell you how to open a business. I could teach you about LLCs, EINs, S Corps, C Corps. I can teach you about how to start a business. I could teach you about marketing. I could teach you about target marketing. I could teach you about content marketing. I could run through taxes. I could teach you all of this stuff right now, but it will not mean a damn thing if your mindset is not ready. And mindset is not something that is just taught. It is something that's cultivated, nurtured, and something that you're a practitioner of constantly. It's a lifestyle. Entrepreneurship is a lifestyle, and it's something that you have to create. So before we go into all of that, I want to actually help cultivate that mindset, if that makes sense. All right, so we covered broke versus poor. That's the first thing that we talk about. So, the first thing with money mindset. Our goal that we're talking about right now. Does anybody remember what you're supposed to know before, what you're going to know before we leave out of here today?
How to save $10,000
In 1 year.
in 1 year.
So, one more time.
How to save $10,000 in 1 year.
Got you. Get that in your head. That's the goal. The first thing that I do once I get a goal in my mind is write it down. Write it down. Put it somewhere where you're always going to see it. Whether you stick it on the fridge, whether you put it in your phone. If I have a goal, my favorite thing to do is I have a whiteboard. I write it on that whiteboard so I see it every single day. Every day. Sometimes I even put it in my calendar as an alarm. So every morning when I wake up, my alarm goes off at 9 a.m. and under it says, my goal. So I wake up with that intent in my head every day. I know that sounds trivial, that sounds stupid, it sounds so simple, but it makes such a difference. Because if you wake up in the morning and you have no intent and you have no goal when you get up, you are free to do anything in the world except for focus on your goal. You ever heard the saying, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything?
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Thank you. I knew I messed that up. Thank you.
All right, one more time.
Shoot.
That poor is passing over opportunities repeatedly?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Yes, sir. That's it. And thank you. Can you say that quote again? Because I'm going to mess it up all
You
over
don't
again.
stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Perfect. And every morning, if you're not standing up for something, when you open your eyes and you stretch, you can fall for anything. So if you have that goal in front of you every day, and you know there's tasks that's set up to help you get to that goal, and a friend comes and says, hey, let's go get drunk, what should your answer be?
I got something to do.
I got something to do. You're not going to fall for anything because you have something that you're standing for. All right? It makes sense. Second thing that you want to do. You want to write down tasks under your goal. Right? So, you have the goal. And we have this guy. We got to give him a name. I'm going to call him Bill. Bill here. He has a goal. 10K a year. He writes that goal right up here. It's easy to have a goal. But what does it take to get to that goal? You should have tasks under it. I like to call them milestones. By month 1, I should have $833 saved. And I'll tell you why I use that number. I know that's like, who just comes up with that number out of nowhere? But there's a reason for it, and I'll explain that to you a little bit later.
That's the math. I know.
That's the math.
Yeah.
Yep. $833 in 1 month. That's a milestone. Now, under that, what does it take to make $833 every month? You have to break your goals down into smaller tasks. Because the more laser focused you are on it, the less hindrance and the less opportunities you're going to pass up, the less distractions that you have within reaching your goal. Does that make sense to everyone? All right. So be very intentful in your goal. Last thing I want to cover on that part is your why. Okay? Anybody, raise your hand, or anybody just speak up. Why do you want to save $10,000 in a year? Shoot.
I'd like to make like my dreams when I was like so poor. Now I make like little bit, step by step. I will make it. So I don't need to keep me and my family as my previous situation when I was homeless for couple years.
Financial security for your family. That is a powerful why. Somebody else give me a why. Why do you want $10,000?
Because I wanted to expand the business establishment that I have currently.
Perfect.
Or better your quality of living for others.
For others, yes. Yes, these are all great reasons. This is your why. This should go under your goal. This should go under your goal. It should be written down under your goal. Why? Because your why is one of the most powerful things that you have in anything. Think about it. Why do we get up and go to work every day? To keep the lights on. To keep food in the fridge. Your why is what gets you up. If you didn't have a why the hell would you get up and go to work? Why?
Right.
Why did you drive here today to sit in here? Your why is what propels you to come here today. Your why is your whys that you have throughout the day are what push you to do every single thing every day. So why not apply that why to this goal?
Because I have a dream to follow.
That's it. That's it. All right. So, what stops us? I want to cover that before we actually go into everything that we're going to talk about.
The strategy that we're gonna make money and then staple that money for something useful.
Mm-hmm.
That's useful thing can continuously running successful.
Perfect. Yep. Anybody else got a why? I mean, a reason that stops you?
Baby mama, living beyond your means.
Baby mama,
Baby mama,
Hey.
living beyond your means.
Living beyond your means.
You know
Now,
what
I
I'm
want to
saying?
talk more about that too. Thank you. Yes, we're definitely covering that. Give me another one.
I would say the reason would be like almost doubting myself as far as I give myself a reason on why I'm not able to do it. I got too many bills to pay, or
Excuses.
So that's the excuses.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Yes. Yes.
Period.
Yes. One of the biggest reasons I've seen for people failing financially and not being able to do what we're talking about today is information overload. Because there's so much information out there. There's so much information and everybody's trying to take it all in all the time. Who goes on YouTube and looks up how to do something? Now, when you go on YouTube and you go to look something up, how many other videos pop up with all of these gurus and all of these people who know exactly how to do it, and there's just videos piled up after piled up after piled up. Now, you went up there to watch one video just to find out how to do something, but, well, how come there's 15 different videos? I got to watch every single one of them now, because what does he know that this guy doesn't know? That's information overload, and that creates analysis paralysis. You know so much that you get stuck. You can't move forward. Anybody experienced that before?
Oh yeah.
Analysis paralysis. That's one reason that stops us from moving. Remember, we're staying with mindset. We're going to go into what we was talking about earlier, but I want to cover mindset first. Analysis paralysis is one of the main reasons of procrastination. All right? The next one is procrastination. But why do we procrastinate? Because who in here believes that they're not a perfectionist? You don't believe you're a perfectionist?
No.
Why?
Because I'll get to the point to where I feel I'm just not gonna I just leave it alone before I become overly consumed in stuff. And it's important stuff too. Before I become overly consumed with even completing some of my tasks, I'll just be like, I'm done. It's more so like me tapping out.
Tapping out.
Yeah.
But what
because
happens with that project after you tap out?
It sits there.
So that's procrastination.
Yeah, very much.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people have it, and thank you for that. Thank you for that, because that's exactly what I want to cover.
Yeah.
A lot of people believe that you can either be a perfectionist, or you could be a procrastinator. Like there's no medium in between. It's like I have to have this perfect. I'm not releasing this project until it is 110% perfect.
Yeah, that's me. I try to strive for perfection every time.
But if you're always going for perfection, when does it ever get done?
Yeah.
Because just like a portrait is a living document that an artist creates. So every day they can look at that portrait and decide that it's never done.
I get stuck and overthink it. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't suit my eye, so I'm like, okay, what can I do to make this better, or make this come to life, or make this happen?
Exactly. And I love how you said that in your eyes. Because perfection in your eyes isn't the same as perfection in his eyes, or his eyes. But how would anybody know the quality of work that you've done if you never release it? So think perfection is something that is created by us. We create perfection. We create that in our mind. And that's the reason why a lot of things that we set out to do doesn't get done, because we're not ready to do it until everything is perfect, which goes into analysis paralysis too. I'm not going to start doing this until I know everything about it. Well, when does anybody know everything about anything? Never.
Yeah.
And once you know everything about anything, then it's time for you to close your eyes and take a dirt nap. Because once you stop learning, life is useless. So, I urge this. Whether you know everything about anything, just get up and start it. Because the only way to become great at something is to fail forward and to be a practitioner in what you're doing. All right? So when you leave here, you're not going to know everything about finance. You're not going to know everything about entrepreneurship. But it's a foundation for you to start and know where to start looking to get things done. But as you're looking, also implement at the speed of instruction. As soon as you learn it, start implementing it in your life. You don't have to know every single thing to start moving forward. Learn one thing from one chapter and implement it ASAP. Right? So implement at the speed of instruction. I was going somewhere with that, but y'all let me ramble too long. All right. And we talked about lack of education. Fear of judgment. Fear of judgment is a lot of reason. Is a huge reason why people don't move forward into financial freedom. And I'll explain it this way. Frugal. Who knows the definition of frugal? Who knows the definition of cheap? I saw that. I saw that. He just, Go ahead.
I know, yeah, as far as cheap. Yeah,
Cheap?
yeah.
Okay. Somebody give me the definition of cheap.
Inexpensive or
Or a person being cheap, or a person being frugal, sorry. In relationship to a person.
Yeah, no, go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna say I compromise.
Or compromise.
My spending ability when I'm thinking cheaply. If I really want that, but because one, I feel it costs too much, I'll settle for something that's different and put value in it. You know, I'll consider that me being cheap.
That's frugal.
That's frugal. Okay.
That's frugal.
Okay.
Somebody give me cheap. Go ahead.
Cheap is any material that has less value, less quality, less materialistic, that give it its value later on. So if you buy like 2 different cars.
That's frugal. That's frugal.
I don't know what cheap is. Like, I might have the money to buy it, but I'm not going to buy it just because I don't want to spend the money on it.
That's cheap.
Oh.
That's cheap. Cheap is not spending money. That is cheap. Frugal is intentfully spending money strategically.
Okay, I see.
A frugal person is what you guys described.
Say that frugal again.
Frugal is intentionally spending money strategically.
With he followed certain strategy to, right?
Yes, with a strategy, yes.
Okay.
Like you guys said, I will purchase this at this price now, even though I know it's not of the highest standard, and I will add value to it afterward.
But cheap is not spending money.
At all. I don't want to buy it. I have the money. I'm not buying that.
18.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right.
That's cheap. Frugal is intentfully spending money. I have to. All right. So Comcast and Rainier Connect. I know that Comcast has higher internet speeds, but it also costs more. Rainier Connect has lower internet speeds, but it costs less. I'm going to choose Rainier Connect, and I will compromise my internet speed so I can save money. But a cheap person says, I'm not buying it at all. I'm going to go to
Library.
the library. I love how you both said it at the same library.
It's gotta be real.
I'm not even going to Starbucks because I might buy a coffee.
or maybe that's a strategy that can let you to use other people's money. You know what I mean? Like
It's like,
the service that library is supporting you, you can save money, so you're gonna do something else with it.
Yes.
It's like that's free service.
Yes. There's nothing wrong with it. But I wanted to go through frugal and cheap. Did you have something to say?
It's like a comparison between steak and chicken. You know what I'm saying? Steak costs more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But chicken tastes good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. Especially when you go into the different cuts of steak. So, yes.
I got a question.
Shoot.
So when it comes to cheap, also would cheap be almost like what Chris, right?
Yes, sir.
Almost like what Chris just said. If I'm in a space to where I want something, I have the money to get it, but I want to use Chris's money to buy it. Would I be cheap, or would that be me fruit, or just strategically?
Strategically.
Just yeah.
Yes. So you follow like
Now, you borrowing the money from me, you're going to give it back.
Yeah.
That's frugal.
Yeah.
one of the best things.
Cheap is not spending money at all.
That way. There's they call it inactive business, right?
Uh-huh.
So when you use someone else to develop your business, that one is inactive.
That's called bootstrap.
So you get that money to develop your business in both ways. You're not losing, and there's opportunity over than 50% to develop the business and to send the money back for him if you owe him.
But money was spent.
And it's spent back.
Once money comes out of your pocket, you are now frugal.
Right.
Now, a lot of people look at the word, if I looked at it and say, you're cheap, people take it offensively. I'm not cheap. Because that's what, once again, mindset. The world taught you that the word cheap
It's
a bad word. But it's not. Some of the most successful millionaires in this world are cheap.
Yeah.
They won't spend money.
Bill Gates, like supposedly, like he was waiting on the line to get some wings in California, and everyone take a picture with his Toyota Corolla, like 1994. I see the picture, and I said, "Wow, he's a billionaire," and I can imagine. Then, after they're reading, yes, he has money, but he couldn't show it, or he doesn't like the desire to show it for others because he has a lot of business to do.
He's buying what he wants instead of, you know what I'm saying, spending because of who he is or you know,
Exactly.
his name or what he's got, you know.
Exactly.
Okay, I got money like that. I'm gonna go get me some wings made by a chef or something and pay this amount of money instead of going to Buffalo Wings where he like to eat at.
Exactly.
That's where he gets wings at.
Exactly. And I'll talk about two millionaires right now. Patrick Bet-David said one of the most profound things in an interview that was amazing to me. He came in, he had a pair of jeans and a t-shirt on, and he was in the Starbucks. He sat down in an interview. And someone asked him, he said, "You are a multi-millionaire. I saw you walk over here, and I didn't even see the car that you had or whatever." He was like, "Oh, I drive an Accord." And the dude looked really confused. And he was like, "You're wearing a pair of jeans. I don't even see a name brand on them. Your shoes have scuffs on them." And he said, "Listen, why am I going to spend money impressing people that have less money than me?"
I fellowship with people over in Gig Harbor that live on the marina. You would never know they was a millionaire unless they told you.
And that's how they stay that way.
Because the way that they dress. But just meetings that I go to with these people, out of the 30 people in there, 25 of them are millionaires, and you wouldn't even know it. You know, they shop at thrift stores.
That's how they became millionaires.
They go buy a brand new car. They go get, you know, car off a lot, but it's not brand new. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. That's how they stay that way. Elon Musk, probably the richest man in the world right now, does not own a house.
Yes.
When he has conferences, he has stuff to do, he flies in to California, and the president of Google, he says, "Hey, I'm coming in. I don't have anywhere to stay. Can I sleep on your couch?" And he couch surfs. He does not own a house to this day. The richest man in the world. It's crazy.
That's
It's
how
crazy.
you gonna stay rich too.
That's exactly how it's going to
I mean, if you got money like that, you know, it's a mindset.
It's a mindset. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's a mindset. Now, we spoke earlier about your relationship with money. Now, in order to have a relationship with somebody, What has to happen?
You have to know them at least.
Bam. You have to know money. How many of us really know money? Who knows what money loves? Nobody really ever thought about that. Money is a tool, but you have to have a relationship with it. Now, if you use a power drill or a power saw, aren't you going to know a little bit about it first before you go plug it in and just start sawing and drilling stuff? Know a little bit about it, right?
Yeah, straight up.
So why not do the same with money? Before you just grab it and start using it, why not know a little bit about it? So that's what we're going to talk about right now. What does money love? Money loves to be generated, made. It loves to be made. It's probably one of its favorite things. Money is a social tool. It loves to have friends. It loves to be duplicated. $1 in your pocket. Well, whoever heard a penny earned, what is it? A penny made is a penny earned. Okay. How about $1 made is $1 earned? Who thinks that's true?
I mean, I do. I'm gonna say, yeah.
$1 saved. I'm sorry. $1 saved. All right. So if you save $1, how much do you have?
$1.
If you earn $1, how much do you have now?
$1.
Two.
2.
Because you saved already half.
Saved one.
You have a
You
Yeah,
have
maybe.
another one.
Okay.
Okay. But in actuality and reality, you have $1.70 because the dollar that you earned is taxed.
Oh,
So minus 30 cents out of that. So is it easier to save money or make money?
to invest.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet, but I like where you're going.
Yeah. So when you spend it,
Mhm.
mostly there's percentage to get it back over double or triple, but there is also opportunity to lose it. So you need to be successful, or you have smart strategy to follow.
But that's an investment. We're just talking about saving. Saving and investing are two different things. All right?
Yeah.
So let's go back.
I'm gonna say it's easier to earn $1.
It's easier to earn $1. But when you earn $1, what happens to that dollar?
But the percentages is taken.
Decrease.
So you don't really save $1.
It got
I mean, earn
taxed.
$1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got taxed. So is it easier to save $1 or earn $1?
Save.
Bam. But we don't do that
Right.
because of our relationship with money. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it does.
Please expound a little more.
Yeah, sure. Making $1, if you have $1 in your pocket right now and it's sitting there, that's $1. That $1's yours. Now,
Well, not unless you're married.
It's ours.
She called you cheap earlier, so I guess that was returning that blow.
But please go on.
Okay, so if you have that $1 in your pocket, that's your $1. That's your $1. You have a full $1. Now, if you work for $1 an hour, how much would you make in an hour?
Right.
No,
Nope, 70 cents.
70
I see
cents.
what
It got
you-
taxed.
Got you. Okay.
So it's easier to save money than it is to make money. But people's relationship with money make them think otherwise. They think this is easier to
get
earn
more
money
money.
than to save it.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
When you look at it like that, it's completely different. It changes your whole outlook on this tool. It changes your whole outlook on this tool. Remember, money is a tool, and the more that you know about it, the more that the easier it is to save that $10K a year.
It also has to do with the mindset also.
Exactly.
For some people feel like being that I earned it, I can spend it.
Right.
Exactly.
Instead of saving it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that is typical. Yes, you're right. Go ahead.
And could I add to what he just said? Because it is real. Because that's one of the biggest things that people say. It's my money. I enjoy it. I earn the right to enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Mm-hmm.
And so we constantly spend just to be self-gratified, and we worked hard for this, so I can spend it
That's
however
what I
I
just
want.
did. I bought a truck.
But,
And everybody
love
said,
it.
you got a new truck, Mark? I said, yeah, I worked hard for that.
straight up.
But I also did it to build my credit. You know what I'm saying? Help build my credit.
Right.
Next thing I want to talk about, but I like where you are with the credit too. But next thing I want to talk about Emotional versus logic. Purchasing, buying, spending is an emotional thing.
Especially when you got a significant other.
Yeah. But anytime that money leaves your pocket, it's out of emotion. Challenge me on it. Who thinks otherwise?
Is that always the case?
Yep. Every single time that you spend a cent, it's emotional.
Yeah.
So help me understand how. I think I kind of get it, but like to say in the case of a mortgage,
Mhm.
you're paying for your house.
Mm-hmm.
Help me make the connection.
What happens if you don't pay your mortgage?
You lose your
You
house.
lose it.
How does that make you feel?
Got you. Okay.
Every cent that leaves your pocket is emotional.
Okay.
So basically, what you're saying, if you could regulate your emotions when it comes to spending your money, you can save more.
Bam. Bam.
That's a relationship.
That's the relationship that we have with money. Now let's go even more into it. Let's talk about logic. Because we're going to spend emotionally, but we need to add some logic into it, regulating those emotions. All right? So, a Tesla versus a Honda Accord. $55,000 versus $7,000. Right? Why do you need a Tesla? What's the purpose of a vehicle?
Pleasure over there or maybe work. Two different things. 2 different things for Tesla, like mostly for pleasure.
Yep.
Okay. Versus Honda Accord is like for business or to work. That's it. Period.
What is the purpose of a vehicle?
To get you from point A to point B.
That's it. That's it. So why
50
purchase a
Okay.
Tesla for 50
versus 10.
instead of that Accord? Why?
And you ain't even got a house.
Huh?
You ain't even got a house, but you gonna give that type of money up to buy a car.
Exactly. That's emotion. Because how that Tesla makes you feel.
Yeah.
The people that see you, oh, he has the Tesla.
Image.
All emotion. So regulating that emotion, like you said, you regulate that emotion. Why do you need a Tesla? That Accord gets you from point A to point B just fine, right?
Yep.
That's emotion.
Why buy the Nike sweatpants when you can go to Walmart and get you some Fruit Loops sweatpants?
All day, all day. Why purchase a 200 pair of Jordans versus a $50 pair of Adidas?
Well, hold on.
Why?
Wait a minute now. Me personally, myself,
Mm-hmm.
I don't own a pair of Jordans right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I do want to get me a pair
Why?
soon here
Why?
because I don't have a pair in my closet.
No. We gotta dig into that. Let's
No,
unpack that.
Because the way I used to live,
Uh-huh.
I had the money to do that.
Okay. And how did you feel when you were able to do that?
Oh, I felt good about it. You know what I'm saying?
Emotion.
Emotionally, I mean,
No, that was emotion.
Yeah, it
You
was.
felt good.
and then it's some entitlement. I can do that because I got it
This is
like
good,
that.
Will.
Emotion.
You know, but
No,
now it's a
no,
question
no,
of me
no,
getting the
no,
Jordans
same thing.
because I'm really trying to do something with my money in the future here.
Okay.
But if I can catch some Jordans on sale, I sure would like to have them.
Okay. So, emotionally frugal.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But does everybody understand that every cent that leaves your pocket is off of emotion? And like you said, regulating that emotion to spend is one of the first steps in mindset to reaching that 10K a year goal. All right? Regulate the emotion.
Because that's $180 to $210 that can be going to your savings.
For a pair of shoes that most people don't even take out of the box because they're afraid for it to get scuffed.
No, I'm wear mine.
Some people don't even wear them. I can't with you. This is my co-host right here. Okay, so let's get into saving that 10K. Everybody feel better about mindset? Everyone feel like they have a different relationship with money now?
Yeah.
Like they understand this tool a little bit more?
I wish I had came to the last one because I wouldn't have got that honeymoon suite out there on Lake Washington.
Show with you.
Went to the Motel 6 and got
Stop
the
it.
Hey, hey, hey. It's all right. We live and we learn, right?
Yeah.
All right. First thing, since we all got mindset. First step. We already went through our goal. We went through making tasks under our goal. We went through writing down our why, which is going to be the fuel for you being able to do this every day that we're going to talk about. All right? Make your money inaccessible. Does that make sense? Who's ever heard of this money is burned in my pocket?
Yeah.
Well, how do you stop it from burning your pocket?
Take
Don't
it
pour
out.
water on it.
Take it out your pocket.
Take it out of your pocket.
I like to hold on to mine.
No. You're going to spend it. You're going to get another honeymoon suite. And a pair of Jordans.
You hold it on it out.
By the
Right.
Jordans.
Yeah. He's headed
good.
straight over the Foot Locker. He's gone.
If it sit there long enough, I sure will.
Yeah. Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Me and my wife, we came up with a system a while ago where we had a savings account and we had a debit card on it, and also to the bank we had a 4-digit PIN number. I knew 2 digits, she knew 2 digits. We're not allowed to tell each other those 2 digits.
Oh, that's
Oh,
beautiful.
that's perfect.
So the only way I could take money out of the savings account is if she's physically there, and I give my 2 digits to the banker, and then I have to walk out, and then she walks in and she gives her 2 digits, and then the banker says, "All right, we're good," and then we both walk in and we agree on how much we're taking out.
Mm-hmm.
Make your money inaccessible. I can't spend that.
Right.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's good.
Jules, that's a jump. You dropped that gem. I'm gonna
That's
put that
it.
on.
That's good.
I'm gonna
That's
roll
it.
down.
That's
The gem's
good.
dropped.
All right? Or why the hell do you need a card for your savings account anyway? Why do you need a card? It's meant to be saved, not spent. If you have a card that directly accesses your savings account, snip, 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 snip. Trash. Why do you need it? It's not a rainy day. It's pretty sunny outside right now. It's a rainy day funds. Why do you need a card that directly accesses the money that you're saving? Right?
That make good sense.
Heck yeah, Dad. I'm tattooed that one on my arm.
Another step. Going along with making your money inaccessible. How many of you already have plans on how your paycheck is going to be spent before it even gets to you? There's Yada, one of my favorite apps. It's a savings app. It's a savings account that yields a 1 to 2% interest rate, which is very high. Knowing that your bank is less than 0.5% interest. So a 1 to 2% savings interest rate is amazing. So this app, Yotta, YOTTA, what it allows you to do is for your paycheck, if it's direct deposit, immediately takes it out and sends it to your savings account on there. Immediately, you never see it. You never see it, and that goes with pretending that money doesn't exist. Forget about your savings. It doesn't exist. So, a lot of people know that it exists, and they actively watch it all the time. So they say, I have $500, but I have bills to pay. I have $5,000 in my savings account. I could pay my bills with this money that's sitting here that I got from my paycheck. Or, let's go buy some Jordans, 2 pair. Because I know that in my savings account, there's $5,000 there. I can cover my bills with that. Worst way to think. Forget that savings account. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. And that goes what you said earlier, living below your means. Live below your means. Be frugal. Spend strategically but intentionally.
And that's kind of like my problem right now. You hear me? Because every time I put something in the savings, I always go in there and touch some of it, you know. And
That's
I've been
it.
saying to myself, man, I ain't supposed to be doing this, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's usually when my wife is present, or she don't want something to ask for something. You know what I'm saying? And you know, as a husband, I try to make sure she's got everything she wants and needs. But it kills me when I go in my savings because I try not to mess with it at all.
So let's talk about this. Is something we talked about last month as well. Let's talk about the difference between wants and needs. And I say this, and I want to go back to it because I feel like it's very important in almost anything you do. Let's talk about a want and a need. Somebody give me a want.
It's yours.
Jordans.
You're killing me. You were killing me with these Jordans. Someone give me.
We'll have them next month.
Someone give me a need.
I need a car.
Air.
A house.
Food.
Groceries.
Well, I don't need a car. You're right.
Medicine.
I need gas.
Okay.
Well, maybe.
To everything. Gotcha. Everyone threw a bunch of needs out there. Some of them are needs, but how much of it is a need? I need a house.
Okay,
No,
but
you
live
need
in a
shelter.
You need shelter.
You need shelter,
That's right.
not a house. I need a car. You need transportation. You don't need a car.
But you
to
can
survive.
avoid the medicine. But
You
can
need
avoid the
medicine.
Yes.
You need medicine.
Yeah.
That is an essential. That is for your health. So the difference between the need and the want is what? A need is something that's essential to your way of life and for you to be able to exist.
Affecting you.
A want is something that appeals to your luxurious side. I want to be comfortable. But I'll be the first to tell you as an entrepreneur, if you're comfortable, you're not doing it right. Nobody accomplishes anything amazing when they're comfortable. Nobody. Anybody disagree?
We agree.
Nobody accomplishes anything great in their comfort zone. So, I tangented off long enough. Let's get back on track. I apologize. Okay, pretending like your money doesn't exist, that's what we left off. See, I knew these would work. To keep me on track, hopefully. So, let's get into the 10K a year. I know I promised that earlier. I kept you guys waiting long enough. I'm going to teach you something called the 2740 rule. I'm supposed to have a whiteboard up here, but I have this guy here. So we're supposed to use the room downstairs. So let's go into the 2740 rule. Now this is $27.40. That's how much you need to save a day in order to put away $10,000 a year. That's crazy, right? People look at the huge number. Remember I talked about a goal and then I talked about the little tasks and breaking them down? That's why I brought that up first. Because once you understand that, you understand this. $10,000 in 1 year. Huge number. How do I do that? Let's break it down into those little milestones. Alright? That means you need to put away $833 a month. That's still a big number. I have bills, I have shit that I have to do. Well, I put away $833 a month. How do I do that? Let's break that down further. All right, that's the $27.40 a day.
Yeah, I figured that out already.
Yeah, you did. You called it.
Moving numbers.
Yeah. So let's talk about what we spend in a day that is far from frugal. Make coffee at home before you leave. That's $3 a day. $3 a day,
Yes.
right?
You go to Starbucks.
Who's going to Starbucks?
That's
Go
like
ahead.
$7 a day.
Don't have to.
Yeah,
Oh, no. I went to Starbucks to
Right
use
here.
the hot water. Yes. I swear, I use.
That was a charge for
I
that.
live no.
Oh no.
I live homeless. I live in my car. I bought like. I stuck here in Tacoma. I'm from Texas, by the way. I'm stuck in Washington from November last year. So I bought Nestle Cafe from Walmart, and I used the hot water from Starbucks. And every time she says, "You can come in," I put you on water. That's it. So that's you save daily.
$3 a day.
Yes.
$3 a day. Make your coffee and put it in a cup. Bring it to work. That's $3 a day you just saved. Right? Stop buying clothes.
But we love them.
That's an emotional issue right there that you got to work through.
We are emotional creatures.
That is emotional because who are you buying clothes for? I need a new pair of shoes to impress who?
He likes those shoes,
I
right?
care with y'all.
Those shoes look so good on
For
you.
me personally, I like to, you know what I'm saying, dress.
That's emotional. I like to dress too. I love suits. Very frugal with my suits.
But I have been shopping at the thrift store.
Good.
They sell brand new stuff at the thrift store.
They do.
And I've been winning.
They do. But let me ask you this.
Right with you.
But let me ask you this. Do you have enough clothes to be able to have a wardrobe to last you?
Yeah.
If you did not buy another pair of pants right now for a year, would it hurt you?
No.
I still got some stuff in the closet with tags on them. Boxes still new shoes.
Yet you're still purchasing clothes. Yeah. So look, clothes. If you spend $150 a month on new clothes, that is $5 a day. $5 a day.
Plus the 3, which is $8.
Exactly.
Plus the
So your
tax.
coffee.
Yeah.
You start making your coffee and bringing it in. That's $3 a day you saved. You stop purchasing clothes, $150 a month. That's $5 a day. That's $8 right there. Remember, our goal is $27.40, right? Look how close we are already just cutting 2 things out.
And just in the last 2 months, I've been buying $20 scratch tickets every day. That was $600. Actually, that was $1,200.
Where's your house, man?
I just did the math on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, this has got to stop.
Gotta stop.
I spend $20
Man,
every
that's
day.
rich people.
That's just so if you spent $20 every day, you add $7 to that.
I'm in there. Though.
You're there.
You're
You're there.
I got this here. You hear me?
Let's do this, man. Let's do this. All right, bringing food to work. Bringing food to work.
I do it all the time. Well, I work at their feed anyway, so.
All right, cool. But how many of us stop and pick up a sandwich, and then for lunch pick something up, and then on the way home pick up something so you can eat in the car, which is averaging out to about $10 a day.
Depends on where you're eating it from, too.
Yeah.
Because McDonald's will shoot you in the face for like $11.
It's $10 a day.
Cheeseburger and a sandwich.
Shoot. So we're at 18 right now, just so everyone knows. $18 a day. Go ahead.
RJ, I don't want to throw you off
Mhm.
at all, and I purpose.
I got the cards. I'm good. You can't. Nobody can stop me. Go for it.
And I purpose not to know anything but to learn. But there's something as you're addressing this that maybe you could talk about.
Mhm.
Idealistically and realistically, this will work.
Mhm.
But there seems to be a component of being able to put this into place. I don't want to say that's lacking. Like there's a hindrance, I suppose. Could you address that? Here's the best way I know how to put it.
Okay, go for it.
Your passion will compel you, right? Like when we were kids, mama says, get up and go to school. You're like, I don't want to. Give me a few more minutes of sleep, right? Mama says, we're going to Disneyland. You're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, asking her. So how do you begin to implement that component so as to actually make it happen? Because idealistically, when you hear it, it sounds good, but there seems to be a disconnect as far as the passion to put it into place. Now, don't get me wrong. The police are chasing you, or the landlord is after you, or your car's on the rack to be repossessed. You kind of get the passion then. But how do you implement the passion to actually follow through with what it is that you're suggesting?
We talked about it a little bit earlier with writing your goal and your why, right? But let's go a little bit more into that because you're right. It is mindset. So let's go a little bit more into that. So, right now, if I were to charge you $200 to come to this course, who would have paid it? Who would have paid it? To learn this? Nobody, right? Now, let me ask you this. What's your favorite dream car? The car you've always wanted. Just an amazing car that you've always wanted.
I don't know that I have one, but a tiny home. I like to have a tiny home.
A tiny home. How much does that cost?
Somewhere in the area of 65,000.
65,000. Perfect. How many rooms does it have?
Well, one room and some lofts.
Okay. What's the color scheme? The walls. Describe this place to me. I want to know more about it.
$200 for it. I would pay $200.
If I told you right now that I had a tiny home for you and it's on a lot, prime land, it has everything that you want in it, would you go and find that $200 to pay for it?
Absolutely. I would be very compelled. The value outweighs the price.
Exactly. That is your why.
Gotcha.
That is how you get rid of that deterrence.
So if I might just add a little more, so the emotion that robs us, it stops us from being frugal, that is costing us, has to be turned around in so much that it compels us.
You
So
have
it
to
has-
be aware of it. Just awareness. That's it. Just being aware of it. Like he said earlier. It's controlling that emotion. One thing that I learned that helped me save so much money is to stop giving a damn what anyone thought about me. That is where a lot of people spend money. Woman, tell me I'm wrong. You'll buy a pair of Chanel purse. For who? For who?
For us.
Exactly.
Makes us feel good.
And
It's emotionally attached.
Like it.
but where are your friends rocking? You can't be left behind by them.
So you can use the word sacrifice wishes to succeed something.
Yes, it's sacrifice an emotion, and stop caring about what anyone else thinks. Shoot.
And also, to add to like what Xavier is saying, it's like when we say our why, that becomes a personal decision. That becomes, is it, whatever my why is it that serious to me, or is it that meaningful that I do these sacrifices, right, to make this goal a successful thing? And if my why, anybody's why, if your why to do it isn't as strong as you say it is, then it'll never happen then, right?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
You
know,
won't
I
follow
want to
it.
expound on that just a little bit because I think that's the difference between emotional overload and then suffering from analysis paralysis. Anthony Robbins talks about the pleasure and pain principle, right? Like you start smoking cigarettes because there's a certain pleasure in it that you derive. You decide logically, although there's still an emotional attachment, logically, there is a pain in quitting, right? There's a pain in quitting. That has to be reversed, right? That has to be reversed. There now has to be a pleasure in maybe seeking a healthier alternative, and then this has to become extremely painful for you, like alcoholism or whatever might.
And that is usually how they get people to stop smoking. They put on these patches that make you sick every time you smoke.
Right, and so I'm starting to. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out here is, you know, I'm a bibliophile. I have all these books that I've never read. You know, I just.
Boy, before you go into this, let me say this real quick.
Okay.
This is why people use IRAs as a vehicle for saving money, because there is a pain in spending out of it. You get
Okay.
taxed.
There we go.
Every time you you can have $5,000 in there.
Right.
Every time you touch that money, there's a
Right.
tax on it.
Got you.
So there's a pain in
Right.
spending.
Right. So there has to be a pleasure, if you would, or why has to be pleasurable enough and compelling enough, not just logical, to create an emotional attachment to doing what you're suggesting. Otherwise, it just seems to be theoretical, and it's like, oh, it sounds good, but then as soon as you see a pair of Jordans or Chanel shoes or whatever, because you're still attached to the pleasure of looking good, being impressive, feeling rich, whatever, you're going to do that as opposed to what you're suggesting. So somehow that has to be reversed.
And you think of it this way as well. Think of it this way, and then let me get back on topic. Think of it this way. You go and buy a new pair of Jordans.
I ain't even thinking about them Jordans.
I
That's something I need to do.
Right? Straight up.
Not that I want to do. Need to.
That's
You
what
do,
I'm
straight
talking
up.
about. That's what I'm talking
Straight
about.
up.
All right, you get those pair of Jordans. I'm gonna use them one more time and I'll leave them alone. I promise. You forgot about them. I'm about to forget about them.
Yeah, they out there on my mind.
If people see your Jordans, Threat, I walk in with a new pair of Jordans. What are you gonna say?
I'm not gonna say nothing.
Huh? How about you? You gonna say anything about my new Jordans?
No, I compliment
About
people
you?
when I.
Oh, all right. So everybody, I got one compliment.
There's
Yes.
a compliment.
Yes. I got a compliment. Yes.
Like the
I feel
like on
good
Facebook.
now. After
Yeah, dopamine.
so out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, I got one compliment
That's
for
the
$200. Yes.
Same like
Now,
on Facebook. Same
What,
like on
exactly.
Facebook.
Exactly. I got one compliment out of 8 people. Yeah. Or that's my why for purchasing those Jordans.
It's a self.
But me not buying those Jordans helps me accomplish a bigger why. My 10K a year and me purchasing my house and being debt free. Weigh it out like that. Out of 8 people, 1 person complimented my Jordans.
Why?
And me
Right.
not buying those Jordans and purchasing a home at the end of the year. Which why is more powerful?
At the end,
The home.
Think of it like that before you make a purchase.
money got the end.
Shoot.
And then kind of going back to what you said, like how you help yourself is I don't care what anyone else says.
Yeah.
So it's finding that extrinsic motivation and intrinsic, and it's not letting the extrinsic, so letting anyone else say, oh, I like your shoes, or this, that, I like your car, and focusing on the intrinsic, and it's what makes me happy, and it's what do I need to do to help myself.
Exactly. Exactly. That's it. Yes. Shoot.
And almost adding to what you're saying too, I would prefer a person to come in and enjoy a conversation and like me for my conversation in pursuing a goal that I'm achieving, like saving $10,000 and putting a down payment on my home. That person would be more like, dang, so how are you doing that? Which becomes more beneficial to a person on why am I looking for gratification from someone else. I'd rather it be because of what I'm accomplishing in the absence of them not even acknowledging my shoes when I do walk up in here with them.
But you have things like social media that make people so shallow.
Right.
Nobody wants to get to know anybody anymore. I mean, just imagine, 15 years ago, before social media, how did you meet a girl?
Meet and greet.
You went out and
Pull up,
you
yeah.
did something crazy. You said, hey, hi, my name is, and you shook hands. Shook hands. In a world now to where there's no real physical contact and you can meet somebody through social media by pressing the like button and then sending a comment, people no longer care about the qualities that make you you. People care about what you post. People care about what you wear. What's in the background when you took your selfie. So it makes it a lot easier to spend because you're out to impress these world. A lot of people really believe that their value and their worth is how many friends they have on Instagram. There are some people that really honestly believe this. They feel like their entire life's currency and worth is tied up in how many likes they get when they post a comment.
I need to bring my 16-year-old right back in here. So unfollowed me good.
The approval of others
Yeah.
also.
Yes, that's exactly what we're going to. Yes. And somebody unfollows you on social media, teenagers literally feel like their heart is broken.
Right.
Have you ever met this person before? This person lives in Japan. They just happened to press the like button a couple of times and now you're best friends. You've never had a conversation with this person. And that is why it's so easy to spin, because people care so much about the approval of others because the world is more open now due to social media, and being accepted is brought on by what you own, where you are, what you do, not you. Not you, not your personal traits, not your qualities. So people spend in order to keep in. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
People spend in order to be accepted. It's emotional. It goes right back to emotions again. Let me get back to my flashcards though, because we trailed off again. My bad. All right, so we got make coffee at home. Stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that bring us? That's $3 a day. Stop buying clothes. $150 a month or $5 a day. That brings us to $8. Bring food to work. Stop buying food. That's $10 a day. That's what is that? That's how 18. Thank you. You're my math guy. You keep up with me. All right. Who has just one unused subscription that comes out of their damn debit card every month?
Oh yeah.
40 cents a day. 40 cents a day, $12 a month. $12 a month. That's 40 cents a day, right? For an unused subscription. You're not using it. Why are you giving away 40 cents a day? Eat out less, of course. If you eat out, say something modest, $125 a month. Who can say that they spend that on eating out a month? Right?
Yeah.
That's $4 a day. And get a side hustle. That earns you $5 a day. That hard?
No.
That brings you to $27.40 a day. When you really break it down and you think about it.
You said 20. That rate. We can now. We reach more than 27.40. We reach more than 27.40.
Say that again.
Reach
We
more than
reached
2740.
27.40. The rule.
Yes.
We reached already.
Yeah.
So-
It's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
now.
still we have a lot. Also, we can
News,
minimize.
yeah.
Yes.
Take care of
Yes.
priorities, responsibilities,
Yes.
etc.
Now, this right here that I named,
That's nothing.
this is nothing. Tell me anyone, raise your hand if you can't implement this. Raise your hand if you can't do that.
Easy, maybe. Easy like that.
It's real easy. You take 10K, you break it down to $833. You break that down to $27.40. And then you break that into each thing that you spend money on every day for no damn reason.
But there is one thing important. Sorry to interrupt you.
Go for
Which
it.
is, thank you so much. Which is the continuous of being accomplish that dream. You know, continuous. You can make it. If you broke like 2 days,
Right.
the rule, so you not make it. So you're gonna step back again.
Now, that's why we went over mindset before we talked about this. Because that goes into persistence and what helps you to make a comeback from that why. The most important thing. I fell back 2 days. Should I quit? No, because my why, my business that I want to invest into,
The
you want
sacrifice.
sacrifice your why should make it to where you never fall off. If you miss it a day, so what? Tomorrow,
You can cover.
recover it.
Yeah.
Double it up.
I go 4 or 5 days sometimes without spending $1.
But in
So,
one
but
day,
we don't save that though.
It's not saved.
Yeah.
oh, in one
It's
day
not
you can
saved.
spend a lot of it. That's the
Right.
problem. In one day you can broke yourself for 3 months.
Yeah.
So
True
that's
that.
the mindset, as you said.
And you have to change it. You have to change it. But go ahead.
And it's also easier to bank on, especially if a person is working to some degree. A person is making, even if your steady job, you're able to do the same thing because within your hourly clock in, you're able to produce that. Granted, I won't see that $27 that one day. I know that when I punch the clock, my 8-hour shifts correlates to that $27 per day that I've been doing it. Each day that I go to work, I'm able to say that I
Make the
made
27.
$27.40.
You made it, yes.
And I just got to at least discipline myself enough until I'm paid to deduct that from my paid and then put it somewhere and save.
Definitely. But, and that, yes, you're right. But we're talking about the money you already have now.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to go toward.
Okay.
This is money that you have in your pocket that you're spending, not the money you're earning.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right? You already have this money in your pocket.
Right.
But you keep buying coffee.
Yeah.
Or you keep buying clothes.
Right.
You have this money. This is money that everyone is spending every day on these small things. Now, let me ask you this. You could easily add more to the $27.40.
Right.
How many of you have more than one subscription that you're not using or you don't need?
Right.
I just named one, and that's 40 cents a day, $12 a month. Right? Who the hell needs HBO Max, Hulu, Netflix, all of them? Who needs all of them? Now, if you add that all up, that's probably about $75, right? A month. Now, what's that taking out of your $833 a month?
Yeah.
Right? This is all money that you have in your pocket. It's how you use it. It's your relationship to money. It's how you look at money. Are you using it as something to impress other people, or are you using it as the tool that it should be used for and creating wealth for yourself? It's how you relate to money. It's how you look at money. It's what you know about money. Right? Money knows you better than you know money. Money knows that you like to spend it. Money knows what it wants to be spent on. Money knows exactly where it's going as soon as it touches your hand. Money knows you. It's like a one-sided chess game, and it's always winning. The more you know about money, the harder you play, and the quicker you see checkmate. Right?
Yeah.
Now, down to 2 cards. I don't have my board here, but I'm going to make an imaginary square up here, and I just need you guys to work with me, okay?
Okay.
All right, so both of you two brought up entrepreneurship, so I want to talk a little bit about that real quick. Because at the bottom, I said, I explained to you guys all how you can save money. But then at the bottom, I said that side hustle that brings in at least $5 a day, right? At least $5. And I want to ask one more time. What I said as far as making the 10K a day, that list, does anybody see that as something that's impossible to do?
That's easy if we follow the imagination and
why.
our dreams.
Your why.
The why.
Your why. Keep that in your head. Your why. I'm always going to bring that up. Your why will get rid of any excuse. Any excuse. And I wanted to get rid of paralysis paralysis, and that's why we're doing this, because now you don't have to go to do the research. So you can't get paralyzed, and you can't get information overload. Right? Okay. So,
First, disciplining yourself too.
discipline is huge. And your why will keep you disciplined.
Right.
All right? I want to talk about Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. Is anybody familiar with Robert Kiyosaki? All right? Author of one of the greatest entrepreneurial books in the world, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Following after Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he created the Cash Flow Quadrant book. The Cash Flow Quadrant speaks about the different sections that people fall into as far as generating money and protecting money and duplicating money. So I just wanted to break down a quick part of his presentation and show you, see if you can identify yourself and you can create a path to where you want to be. So here's my imaginary box here, and it's split into 4. Right here, there's the E. The E is the employee. All right? The E is the employee. The employee works. He goes to work. He's taxed on his money before he sees it, right? He gives up approximately 40 hours a week, correct? And he is the vehicle to create somebody else's dream. Does that make sense? His boss pulls up in that brand new Lamborghini, and the employee says, "Hey, I like your car, boss." And he says, "You keep on busting your ass, and I'll have another one next year." Okay? That is the E in the cash flow quadrant. All right? Under that, you have an S. That is the self-employed. All right? Now the E, let me go back up to that real quick. The E trades his time for money. All right? Leprechauns, unicorns, dragons, and mermaids, and a rich employee. What do they all have in common?
They're all
They don't
imaginary.
exist. They don't exist. As long as you're trading your time for money, you will never be rich. Know why? There's only 24 hours in the day and there's only one of you. There's no such thing as a rich employee. Alright? So I'm done with employee right now. Now we're going to move down to the S. That is a self-employed person. This person trades their time, their value for money. They don't get paid off of their time. Alright? So let's say a real estate agent, right, is a self-employed person. Right? They don't get paid by the hour. They don't get paid by the hour. They get paid for the value they bring. Showing that home, doing all the paperwork, working with the loan officer. They get paid very handsomely for that. Because they get paid for the value they brought. Not for the time they spent in the sale of the home. Right? So, the self-employed doesn't answer to anybody. They're their own boss. They work their own hours. They put in a little bit more work, but they reap a bigger reward when they get paid off of their value. That makes sense, everyone? Okay, now let's go up to the top right-hand corner. This is a business owner. That's a B. So you have a E, a S, and a B. Perfect. All right, you're a business owner. Next step from self-employed. Now, a business owner is a person that has employees or has a system that allows them to not trade time for money, but value for money in a system. All right? So I'll ask the question. I ask this all the time, and Michael E. Gerber asked this question to one of his clients in the E-Myth. Who in here can make a hamburger better than McDonald's?
All of us.
Everyone.
Why is McDonald's the biggest franchise and the richest company? I mean, the richest franchise in the world.
They have a system.
Advertisement.
Have a system. A system. People don't buy McDonald's burgers for their burgers. They buy the system. Every single burger around the world in the McDonald's world are all made exactly the same. People buy the franchise because they buy the system. They don't buy the burger.
The name also.
The name is part of the system. It's part of that system. Because I personally like Red Robin's Yums burgers. You have to say one after. Yeah. That's a yum. I like Red Robin's burgers. Well, why? Since they make a better burger than McDonald's, why are they not bigger? How come there's not Red Robin franchises everywhere?
Because they lose the system. They don't have that accurate system that McDonald's they have it.
They don't have the system. And that's the difference between self-employed and the business owner. Because the person that owns the franchise that sells and keeps moving that business is what makes that business. A self-employed person, they get sick, they don't make money. You can't sell a house. You can't sell a house if you're sick.
Yeah.
But if you have a system, that is why you have a broker, and the broker has agents.
Yeah.
Because I can't sell right now. I can send my agents out there, and I get a cut of that. That is a business. Generating money even while you sleep. Remember I told you your relationship with money? It's a very social creature. It's a very social creature. It loves to have company. Money loves to be generated. It loves to have friends. Washington don't like just hanging out with Washington. He wants Franklin in there. He wants all of them in there. What's that? You have a question?
No, I'm just going to simply make a statement about a self-employed person. Although I don't think that you're disparaging any of these. It's just a matter of moving through them to create the wealth that you want. But a self-employed person may have just simply bought themselves a job that they're tied to. And a business owner, like you said, creates a system. So if you look at the word system like an acronym, it means save yourself time, energy, and money.
Yep. That's exactly what the system is. That's exactly what the system is. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, thank you for sharing that. I like that. Never heard that. But yes, that is a system. So, the last one I'm going to go into is an I. Bottom right hand corner at the, yeah. All right, bottom right, that's in the
I stands for what?
investment.
Oh, investment.
Investor.
Investor.
All right. Now, you can look at investment two different ways. All right. You can look at the traditional way of investing, which is stocks. You know, the S&Ps, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ. You can look at those index stocks, which we talked about last time. If you have any questions, we could cover that after this. But we could talk about investing in the stock market. You could talk about investing in another business, right? Investing in a startup, you know, or you could talk about investing in people. When I say investing in people, as a business owner, you want to invest your time into those that are working to keep generating you capital. And that's something a lot of business owners don't do. They hire somebody and then they say, you know how to do the job? Yeah, all right, get out of here and make it happen. What they fail to do is, come with me. I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Because as a business owner, what you want to do is take what you did as self-employed and duplicate that as many times as you can. The more times that you duplicate the successful you, the huger your McDonald's franchise is.
You apply your experience in the new project, so you make it accurate without any mistakes, or
So
maybe
basically what it is-
do recorrection.
Exactly.
So basically what it is your vision you share with others,
And your experience.
and then, you know, the spirit of how you do things. Slowly but surely, you know what I'm saying, transfers
Later
into
on,
them.
yes.
So they'll have the same vision as you, and they would work and move in the spirit that you would, making decisions for the business.
In your system.
Yeah.
In your system, quick. And you have McDonald's. I love going back to them because their system is the most complete thing. But every McDonald's that you go into is exactly the same. Their kitchen design is the same. How many squirts of ketchup they put are exactly the same. Mustard, pickles, everything exactly the same. Here's the reason why. Because now, worldwide, every manager knows exactly what their inventory is of condiments, their inventory of meat, and they know exactly how much to budget for. Because nobody's going buck wild crazy and putting a bunch of ketchup on. No one's going crazy putting a bunch of mustard on. They say, I know that one bottle of ketchup will make me 700 burgers. Why? Because they use the exact same amount of ketchup on each burger. That is a system that's created.
Investment in the same way.
Investing in your system, which means investing in your employees or investing in whoever is working to help duplicate your system. Those are the two ways of investment. You had something, I'm
I
sorry.
was going to simply say about that point, as this gentleman was talking, the book of Habakkuk in the Holy Scripture says, write the vision and make it plain that others might take it and run with it. So make it, like you're saying about McDonald's, how many squirts of ketchup, all the way down to, you know, if you're going to franchise something, like look at it that way, I suppose.
Yes. Exactly. And your vision is what?
Your why?
Why?
Bam. Always goes back to your why. Your why makes everything. So, when you invest in somebody, what also are you transferring over to them?
Your why?
Bam. Your why. You're giving them your why. Or making sure that their why is powerful enough to help them be able to run with you.
You know what? I think that you just answered it for me, and although you didn't really touch on it, I think this is the tipping point, right? Your why better be compelling enough for them to see the value in wanting to do it. Like you said, would you buy this tiny home if it were only $200? Do you see the value in that? And so I think we do ourselves a disservice when we listen to information, although repetition is good, but when we listen to information and we leave the same way that we came in, right? I mean, that's why people don't respond to the gospel. That's why people don't respond.
They're not implementing at the speed of instruction.
Well, not only that, it's not compelling enough. It doesn't provide enough pleasure for them to say, I'll do it. There's still too much pleasure in the Jordans that we just forgot about, right? There's too much pleasure in...
That wasn't me.
Right.
That was not me. That was him.
yeah. You know, there's too much pleasure in, still maybe looking good or whatever your vanity trip might be. That has to be transferred over to the compelling future that you're trying to build for yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
It has to. Your why has to push you forward.
Right.
All the time.
And that just enlightened me because I work with the community. I work for the Rise Center Film and Hilltop.
Uh-huh.
And the vision that Reverend Gerald and Brian Bailey and the guys put out there just enlightened me even more, you know what I'm saying? The work that me and my partner House do, because we're like the face of the Rise Center, being that it's our community.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That just really hit me right there.
Your why is powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful. And it makes you get up and do it every day. I love it. I love it. What's up?
And also when looking at the investment, right, to duplicate a model or something, it goes right back into the 2740.
Yes.
Right, because that becomes a duplicatable franchise.
Yes.
So your 2740 becomes your own personal why of franchising. So I'm going to franchise my 2740 in whichever aspect or any avenue that I can get it, make it duplicate itself.
You beat me to the punch. This was meant to circle right back to the 2740.
We're good.
This is, I love it. I love it.
Right, already, right?
So evidently, the next one that I do, I need to be a little bit more unpredictable here. You guys are finishing the movie. That's why I'm not a movie writer. Because by the first 30 minutes of the movie, everyone knows how I ended already. So, so it circles back around. It circles back around from the S to the. I'm sorry, from the E to the S to the B to the I. It circles right back around. Sounds like it could be a song. It circles back around to your 2740. Now that you know how to do it, that was the self-employed, right? You found out, you created that system, you did it. What's to stop you from doing it in double? You already know the system. You already know the system. So now, do it again. Now, you're at 20K a year. Or, remember you said if you fall back a day, it's all right. Because now you're still making your 10K a year because you're doubled. Right. So that gives you that wiggle room to still get to your 20K. And if you did it twice, if you doubled it twice, once perfectly, why can't you do it a third time? See, it's not that we don't make enough money. It's not that we don't make enough money. Give me 1 second. It's not that we don't make enough money. It's the fact that by the time we get the money, we have no idea where it's supposed to go. We just let it run free. We're using that tool. We're using that 3D printer. If I said it right here, and you've never seen one before, but you know what it does, well, who would get up here and just start pressing buttons? I would. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you know me, you know that if I see buttons, I'm pressing everything. And when it breaks, I did not touch it.
No, for real.
I'm dead serious. I got in trouble numerous times for pulling fire alarms in school because why would you paint that red?
Right.
But who would just get up and start messing with the 3D printer?
Right.
What would you do first?
Figure out. Yeah.
Try to figure out.
Yet and still, we continue to use the tool of money without having any instructions on it. The more you know about that tool, the better you can get up and press buttons and make that 3D printer work perfectly. And that is what the cash flow quadrant teaches. Systematic spending of your money, frugal. Right? Everybody got the formula for that 10K a year? So in a year, everybody here should have 10K in their bank account.
I can make 6 in 2 years after I get a work.
And even if it's not 10K,
You can make 10.
even if it's not 10K and you want to put $10 away a year, what's that going to get you? Say that could get you $5,000 in your bank account saved. Start off low if you need to. Why not? But 69% of American adults in the United States have less than $1,000 in their savings account. That is a staggering
How many?
statistical fact. 69%. That's 67%. 67% of American adults have less than $1,000 in their bank account. Hell, we're living from paycheck to paycheck. If something ever happened, COVID, where are we at? We're waiting for another stimulus check. That is a staggering statistical fact. So, I'm hoping that what you guys learned today,
A lot.
yes, I appreciate it. I'm hoping that what you guys learned today will help you to reach that goal. Will help you to be able to do so.
Definitely value.
All right? Question and answers.
Especially if we take it and, what'd you say, apply it.
Apply at the speed of instruction.
Because these are the instructions, and if we
Start today.
Start to now, right? So, and then taking it a step further, when I look at, especially in relationships, one of the biggest things is that one mindset will be focused on it, and the other mindset is not fully focused on it. But if both parts are very clear on this, and it saves more, right? And if those individuals take on a rich mindset and avoid frugal and become cheap for a year's time, then it saves extremely much more. So,
Yeah. 2740 is a baseline. If you want to go
Straight up.
$30 or $50, if
Yeah.
you can do it,
Yeah.
$50 a day, you put that away.
Because a lot of people do it. A lot of people spend $50-some easily every day,
Easy.
especially when they got the monetary means.
On
So,
once.
On once. And no need.
On once. That's crazy. It's crazy, but everyone looks at that big 10K and they're like, impossible. Then break it down a month, $833 a day. I can't do that. Can you put away $27.40 a day? Yeah, I can do that. Well, there's your $833 and there's your 10K. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, if you have a significant other, it's important to also duplicate your system through them. And I'm not talking about they save $27.40. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about pushing your why to them. Make sure your why is compelling enough to them to help you stay on track.
It's varied from person to person either, and how you can make it. Like any urgent situation, break it for a couple months, where you can make it later on over than 10. So easy, you need just to follow and focus. Step by step, you will make it.
Exactly. We have any more questions? Everybody good? I thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate it.